Hey there, friends. Welcome back to another episode of Podbean Amplified, where we are going to give you all the latest tips, tricks, tutorials, news, and everything great about podcasting. I have me here, which is Shay, of course. Hello, my name is Shay, and Mr. Jared. How are you feeling today?
I just feel large and in charge. This is episode 5.
Large and in charge. I love it. I love it. Well, speaking of large and in charge, I want to talk about Miss Alex Cooper.
Nice.
Miss Alex Cooper is podcasting queen extraordinaire. She said, Joe Rogan, who let me do my own thing. She is now transitioning and getting a massive, massive deal, which is already in the works and already probably done. But I want to show you a clip.
The host of the Call Her Daddy podcast, she seemingly has struck a $125 million blockbuster deal with SiriusXM, granting them the exclusive advertising and distribution rights to her extremely popular podcast, Call Her Daddy.
The reason why this is a big deal is because of the number, right? As of recent, podcasters haven't really been receiving that amount, right?
Mad networks have literally either dissolved their podcast divisions or have completely no longer exist.
$125 million. Jared, how do you feel about that number?
Yeah, to their point. I mean, I don't totally agree with that. There's like this mass dissolving of podcasts. I mean, we at Podbean can attest to, no, there's a very strong market there. But 125, I will say, is proof to a lot of things. Obviously, must be successful. You know, you knew about her podcast. Yeah, and then the fact that it's moving from Spotify to YouTube, that is also interesting. Yeah, you know, like taking it from more of an audio platform and I guess moving it to a visual and audio. Yeah, that's good for her. That's crazy.
Yeah, and good on her. She's ahead of the curve for sure. Pod News, I was reading an article this morning. They say that 10% of Gen Zers, which if you don't know, we're the next generation for everything, and with media being so prominent, 90% of Gen Zers, I'm just going to go backwards, 90% are watching video and audio podcasts as opposed to 10% who are just doing audio only. So Gen Z is typically moving towards the video and audio. So she, $125 million?
There's proof to it. You know, there's value to, especially with like being a pretty woman. I'm sure that plays into that. But yeah, that's proof too that there are value for video podcast versus audio. And obviously here at Podbean, I mean, we champion the audio podcast, but we also have the video capability. I had a friend that, you know, I went to high school with, and this guy, like, I took his model, literally, M to the K. I'll just put his name out there. I don't know. He did some stuff with Soulja Boy, and he's like a part owner of Calypso Drink. But he was a part of the YouTube monetizing that was before it was publicly traded, and then everybody could monetize, right? And I remember his model. His model was just shock jock comedy, but it was also like all videos. I'm posting multiple videos a day, and I literally took that and I used that for a lot of different things that I had my hands in after the fact. And this is even before Gen Z, where, you know, people are consuming video and we can't get enough of it. Right?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Just can't get enough of it.
And there's an element of putting the face to the voice. I mean, when you're on a phone call, you can fake it till you make it. We got millions of customer service workers out here who can attest to that. You know, hi, how's it going? How are you? You know?
Yeah.
And when you put a face to the voice and you can see the person's gestures, you can see their facial expressions, you can see their intention if maybe you can't pick it up audio-wise.
Right.
And there's just a handful of movies that I can go off the top of my head that I absolutely love, like Mr. Bean.
Yeah.
He didn't have to say a word, but it was a great movie, in my opinion. And if you're more action, like John Wick, you know, he is a man of very little to no words, but his action says everything. And so when you tie in that element together, I feel like nowadays with social media and everything being so superficial, it's easy to see someone's intention and their genuineness and where they're coming from. And it's easier to relate. And, you know, maybe if you're at home eating dinner by yourself, watching a podcast and it's less talking, you feel like you're in the conversation with us. We're talking to you, we're having open conversation, and you're sitting there digesting it and you're able to, you know, without us hearing, speak back to us.
Right. No, yeah, there is a group for audio podcasts, right? And I think Gen Z is obviously forecasting to what the future looks like and what it could potentially hold for just companies and different products in general. But at the end of the day, like when I lived in LA, we would drive, no lie, and this probably wasn't everyone's commute, but I was driving an hour plus to and then an hour plus from back home from work, right? And I remember like I had all these friends and like my landlord, older guy, wealthy, he's like, oh, you got to drive how long? He's like, oh, not that big. Just get you a podcast to listen to. So I ended up actually getting a podcast that I had to like focus on the road, but listen to. And there was some value there. But actually, when you do kind of turn it into entertainment and consuming of social media content, I think we see before we hear. And I think that this is a trend that, I don't believe this will be changing anytime soon. Yeah.
No, I don't think so. And I think more of the audio podcasts will go along with what you said is commutes. And I think I read something on podcast news about that. I know I'm shouting them out, but you guys give me all the scoops if I'm not going to Podbean Academy. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, a little flex, a little shout out, but
what's up?
Gotta throw it in there anytime I can because Podbean Academy.
Yeah. Shifting gears for a second, again, Podbean, we are the #1 podcast hosting software company in the space, and we proudly say that. We believe that we can help you start your podcast, grow your podcast, monetize, advertise. So every episode, we do have a software highlight. This week's highlight is going to be our sub-tier packages for you guys out there. Now, obviously, it's free and easy to sign up.
Free and easy.
Free and easy. We want to start there, right? Come, join. If you've even had an interest slightly in Podbean, we have a free tier to sign up, right? But we also do have a tier program that elevates you and grows your podcast with different features. So today we're going to talk about the unlimited audio plan. So if you start for free, you will get a basic set amount of hours. You will get a basic set amount of bandwidth. You will get a basic set amount of also storage for your said podcast, right? But that does come to an end. But there, again, we've talked about, Shay, our spokesperson, has talked about so many of these different features beforehand on tutorials and whatnot. You get a free website. You get so many different cool things with the free package. But now, if you want to grow past 5 hours of audio storage, right? So that's going to be, if you're doing like a 30-minute podcast, you're going to fill out pretty quickly. But you get an unlimited amount of audio bandwidth. Sorry, not unlimited, but you get an extended amount of these features. But then also, too, with the unlimited audio, you get to use our AI features. You get to also use our ads marketplace, which is unique for also our next package, which is going to be our Unlimited Plus. So you get even more hours of storage. You get even more hours of space. But the big change to the Unlimited Plus is you get to now have video uploaded onto your channel. So again, growing is what we also want to encourage. As much as it is easy to sign up, want to encourage you to grow.
Yes, and I have learned this the hard way, and I'm still learning, but my biggest piece of advice is walk, do not run. A lot of times we fixate on the finished product, and we're looking at things, and it's like, oh, you see a singer, it's like, I would love to be a singer, but you don't know how many hard work, like how many hours of hard work and dedication and training and researching and lessons that she had to do in order to get to that place. Same thing with podcasting. I was naive, I will admit it, but now I'm here humbly learning and doing it the right way. You know, don't go for that big package. Don't go right away unless that is your intention. My advice, set your intention, understand, hey, I want this to be something fun that I do on my off time. We'll spend your off time and allocate a piece of that. Don't try and mix it into your heavy set schedule. If you're looking for a part-time job, be intentional with that part-time job. It is a part-time job. Like invest that money and think of it as like gas money commuting there, and then spend those hours that you would at a part-time job. A lot of people will say that they want these things and not actually have a plan or do those things, and they get so what is that word, bogged down by it, you know. And I'm, like I said, I'm a victim of this. Not a victim, because I'm fixing and changing my ways. We're not victim mentalities here, baby. Do your due diligence. I would say start out with the basic. You get the free website. You get everything that you need to start out. You know, you don't have to go out and buy $400 things to create a podcast. Yes, it will look good right off the bat, but what do you know about podcasting now that visually it looks okay? You don't know how to set up the mic. You don't know that you need a logo. Right. You don't know how to do descriptions or what you're going to talk about or what your podcast is going to be about. So don't bite off more than you can chew. It's a marathon, not a race, Mr. Nipsey, my guy. Yeah. But seriously, you know, start low, go more and more and more. You know, if it's a hobby, side job, full-time job, you better get your ass on Podbean Academy right now and figure it out. Spend those 40 hours a week. You want it to be full-time? Well, there it is. Full-time until it's almost no work at all. Like riding a bike. I said that last time, I'll keep saying it. Training wheels, baby. You can't just dive head first. That is my warning to you. And I know you guys are relating right now and you're like, yep, that's me. Yep, that's me too. And that's you. So definitely due diligence, do your work, and you got it. Seriously, you do got it. Yeah.
And I think too, it's cool. Like I use the example of like, you get a gym. Shay might not have this issue, guys, but for someone like myself, you might want to get like Shay, right? We want to get into shape. We want to be like, but you get the membership, right? Because you just want to set these new goals. To like Shay's point, right? Like you got to start in place. But if you want to grow, it's okay to set new goals, right? So even an unlimited audio plan from the free, that's just you saying, hey, if you take it serious, it's a great point Shay makes. Hobbies, not that serious. I'm just doing it. I don't even want to continue to do this. But if you want to take it serious, you guys can also get the unlimited audio. And it's there for you if you want to use it. Obviously, you will have to graduate eventually to that for the limits on the audio space. But yeah, that is our software highlight for this week.
Okay, drum roll, please. Do it while I'm doing it. I see you. Let's do it together. Drum roll because you can't hear my mic. And I'm bringing our guest, our featured podcaster, my favorite portion of this segment and my favorite portion of this podcast, quite frankly. If you give a dad a podcast, you will end up with Papa Podcast, aka Mr. Jared, and his podcast name is If You Give a Dad a Podcast. So I love that. But anyways, Jared, how are you doing today? Thank you for taking the time to be with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. This is a honor to be able to be on here and talk to you guys. I've been looking forward to this for a minute now.
Good.
Awesome, thank you, man.
So tell me and tell the viewers a little bit about yourself. Obviously, we know what your podcast is called, but tell them the origins and you know what it's about.
Okay. So I actually started in 2021 doing a podcast with one of my friends that I worked with. And we always said, we need to do a podcast together. So we did about 13 episodes of that. And life just kind of got crazy, and I wanted to do something a little different and from what we were doing on that show. And so I just started brainstorming, wanting to come up with something that was a little bit more geeky, I guess you could say, because I'm one of those that, as you can see, I've got toys and stuff all around me.
I love
it. And it was, I just needed something that was more me. So I was talking to my wife about it. And we came up with the name for my show, actually, which is If You Give a Dad a Podcast, based off of the book, If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. I wanted to have a show where I could talk to, I didn't have to be nailed down to one thing. I could have wrestlers on my show. I could have comic book creators on my show. I could have voice actors on here. And so she was like, well, let's give this name here. And I was like, that works so well. And so now, when I first started out, it was about 80% wrestling because I had some ties into the local wrestling community. And so I started out doing that. And eventually I started being able to get on, voiceover talent from some of my favorite animes and things like that. And then it just kind of grew from there to where now, yesterday, I actually recorded with the Yellow Zeo Power Ranger, Nakia Baris.
Wow.
What? Look
That's
at you
awesome,
doing
man.
big things. Oh my gosh.
Was that the pink one?
The yellow one.
Oh, okay, sorry. That was my crush. Yeah, that's crazy. But that's awesome, man.
Yeah. It's been a wild ride, but I'm loving it. It's my passion.
That's amazing. I see all the, forgive me if I'm luchador, right? The masks. Is that what they're
you're
called?
talking about these?
Yes.
Those are actually Power Rangers toys.
Oh my God, you were talking about wrestling and I saw the masks. I said forgive me first when I
but that yellow one right there is the one that that's the yellow Power Ranger figure of the one I just recorded with.
I'm looking closely now and I see it. I also see you got Rock Lee by your hip. My favorite guy.
I do, yeah.
My favorite guy, Mr. Rock Lee. I love him. So. Nerding out with you. Oh, amazing. Amazing. So obviously with your podcast, you said that you started one with your friends and then it went radio silent a little bit. Now you've picked it up on your own and you're doing really well. We're so proud of you here at Podbean. Obviously, we had to have you come on the show and just highlight the effort and the time that you put into navigating a podcast. And, you know, we appreciate it, seriously. What would you say are the biggest challenges you have faced as far as podcasting or maybe structure of the podcasting, maybe social media?
So I would say the biggest thing that I run into with, majority of my show is just talking to, people in the entertainment world now, and probably scheduling, because I've got to work with all of these different people's schedules. And yesterday, actually, I had to take time off from my daytime job to make sure that I was able to record that episode. So you got to be kind of flexible with that. Also, if you can tell, I'm in my garage where I do this, and trying to get the echo to go away, and making sure that it doesn't sound cheap, I guess is what I would say for my audio, making sure that it sounds good, because I've noticed that people will want to listen more if it sounds good. If the audio quality is there, then they're more likely to stay tuned in. You might have a great, show coming on. You might have some awesome content, but if you don't have, something that sounds good, then people won't stay around.
I love how aware you are and open to always upgrading your space. And you are a perfect example of walk, do not run. Please take your time. There is always something. There's always going to be something that you have to improve, I feel like. Yeah. And that's just us, natural human tendency of wanting to be perfect and getting things the best. And no, I appreciate that you, first of all, did the damn thing and started it, but you are constantly upgrading. And that's what people don't understand. They think they see a finished product and you're like, oh no, you don't see it outside of this camera here, but the corner over there, I need to put all those things away. I have everything in disarray. What you see on camera is all it is, But I love it. I love it.
We see like you're very active on social media. So, I mean, give some insight to, like you got some merch, you got a logo. Like, when did you turn that corner of kind of taking it a little more seriously? Obviously, just bringing up the set issues, but and then how did that kind of make you more productive? And also, too, like, how did you see changes in your listener retention? Just that turn of you taking it more seriously. Did you see a growth in your podcast?
Yeah, I definitely did. I guess I started out with just doing my normal show. I had my logo from the beginning, just from, you've got to stand out, give people something to remember you by. That way, when they say it again, oh yeah, and they want to go listen to that show. But when it comes to social media, I've tried to stay on top of it. I'm on pretty much everything, Blue Sky, Twitter, I guess it's X now, but all these different places, Instagram, and TikTok even. That's been my more recent one though, is TikTok. I've started making short form videos when it comes to, I do video content now. I've only probably created about 12 episodes that were video. All of them have just been audio until just recently. Nice. And making little snippets from that and putting it on TikTok to where people can be like, oh, now I want to go see the whole interview. It's important to utilize everything. You know, if they can see you everywhere, then you're going to be in their brain. You're going to be on their mind. And so they're more likely to go and search out your show if they remember you more.
I love it.
Totally.
I love everything about it. I just want to preface that the people that we have on here, the podcasters, the extraordinaires, we did not pay them to say these things.
Right.
You know, and a lot of the things that we preach are the things that they are saying that has helped them and that they've implemented into their podcast. And so, come on, guys. All this information here, you got to take it. Soak it up like a sponge and implement it. Seriously.
Free. What is some advice that you would give to like just a new user? You know, like when you were in that space where you were like, well, you said it before off camera, like we had, you know, started 3 years ago. But before that, explain that space. And if you had any advice to people that are new to podcasting or thinking of getting into the podcasting space, what would that be?
Do it.
Yes.
I mean, you know,
just do it.
For like I told you guys at the beginning, for many, many years, I loved listening to podcasts and I always thought it was so cool. But I always thought it was something, I'll never be able to do that. And then one day, you know, I started a podcast with my friend and realized how, you know, easy it was to get started. And so I guess my advice would be, if you want to, at least try. You never know. You might have something that is going to blow up. You might have something that's amazing and you don't know until you try.
Mm-hmm. And you just might end up on Podbean Amplified.
Come on. That's the next step. No, that's awesome, man.
Yeah. I love it. You're doing the work and we appreciate it. That's why we appreciate the time that you have taken to spend with us and share the knowledge on a successful working, running podcast that we enjoy to listen to. And, you know, we had to have you on, so we appreciate your time. Thank you so much, Jared, for dedicating it. Seriously. Podcasting is hard and you make it look easy.
Well, I appreciate that. I thank you again for having me on here. This has been a lot of fun, and I'm excited to continue doing this.
Awesome. Let them know too, when do you podcast air? And do you have a website? Where can they reach you?
So I have a link tree that shows everywhere you can find my podcast, and it's Give a Data Podcast. It's link just your normal link tree, and then / Give a Data Podcast. I have new episodes that air every Monday on all of the audio places. And then I have one on YouTube that comes out on Wednesdays, and it's the video version of the podcast that I dropped on Monday.
That's awesome.
Very cool.
Check him out, guys.
Give him a follow, buy his merch. I love the shirt. And that is why we do what we do. My reaction, I'm sorry, it is so natural because we spend every single day trying to do exactly what he is doing. How do we put these tutorials? How do we make this information easily digestible for people to actually understand that this is vital information? It's vital information to successfully navigate and run your podcast. And we're doing it all for free here on podbean.com, the Podbean app, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube tutorials, Podbean Academy tutorials, how to start a podcast tutorial. So anything and everything podcasting, you can definitely find it with us.
This is Podbean Amplified, guys. Go to podbean.com for your free account if you haven't already started one. If you know somebody, go send them to podbean.com. Again, this is a weekly episode where we bring you the latest and greatest in podcasting. We will see you next time.